course it does. Now let's get this compost bin set up. We can start by putting in all the stuff we've just cleared. And I brought in some old leaves from my own garden. Great.
Oh, that looks lovely, girls. I want to see your own compost bin. Well, now you can have compost from my bin any time you like till your own starts producing.
Not at all. I'll be producing within a few days.
It'll take 3 months or more, Betty, before you get compost.
What? More waiting?
Tell me, is that where the roses are going to go?
Oh yeah, did you post off that form yet?
Yeah. They'll be here in time. So, when's Helen arriving?
Next Thursday.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her.
Oh, well, I doubt it there'll be time for that, Betty.
This is the form for the roses. You never posted it.
Fell down behind the washing machine. I forgot all about it.
It's too late for roses now. Helen Dillon's coming tomorrow.
Well, maybe Miss McGee won't look over the wall.
Come rain or sunshine, Mrs. McGee's going to take Helen Dillon out into her back garden.
I know. Maybe I could still get a fountain and put it in the rose bed.
What about the roses?
I don't even like them. I was only saying that to tease Mrs. McGee.
We're never going to get a fountain installed in one day. And we better think of something else.
You seem to need to fill out forms for everything these days, whether it's at a bank, at work, or signing up for evening classes. On page 59 of the Read Right Now workbook, there's a form for ordering roses. Before filling out any form, read it through first, look at the different sections and check what information you need before you fill it out. On this form, the name of each rose is listed on the left. Its price comes next, and then a box for you to fill in the quantity or number of the roses you want. In the next section, under Cost, you put in the cost of the roses you've chosen. If you want 2 of the iceberg rose bushes, you put 2 in the quantity box, and because these roses are €6 each, you put €12 in the cost section. At the end of the list, there's a line for total cost, where you add up the total cost of the roses you're ordering. Underneath, you fill out your full name and address. If you're sending the form abroad, you should write your full address, including your county and country. Mary Byrne, 32, New Street, Kilrush, County Clare, Ireland. Remember, you don't have to fill in forms in front of anyone. You can take it away to a quiet place, or even take it home. People often read forms out loud, and this may help you understand a form better. Most forms ask for the same basic information, so you'll find it easier as time goes on to fill them in. Improving his literacy skills and building up his confidence have brought real practical benefits to Martin's day-to-day life.
Years ago, it could be quite scary to go to Dublin, and you'd be worried. And I remember the first time I went to Dublin, it's a long time ago now, I'm telling you, to All Ireland, and I came out and I was completely lost. Travelling now, I have no problem going any place and travelling. I could go to Dublin with my eyes closed. I could find any of the stations or buses or anything like that. I'd have no problem. And that's the difference between then and now. And I think that travelling is a great education experience, and I would advise anyone that have a problem, to travel. Since I was knee-high, hurling was, for me, it was a part of life. And when I was young and going down with the hurling team and travelling off in cars and getting ice cream at that time and maybe a mineral, and oh God, it was terrific to be there. It's great to see the young lads, and up in James Stephens, they does terrific work with young people. I used to come up and help him to train the young lads. They were only small kids of 6 and 7. You get a great kick out of it. Misfortunate health came against me, so I had to give it up. I wasn't able to run around as much as that. Every chance I get, even Kilkenny when they were before the Galway game, before we got sadly beaten, I was over in Nolan Park nearly every night they were training. And I get a great buzz out of that.
And better still, his newfound ability to read means that these days, Martin gets even more out of his hobby than before.
You can pick up your paper and read all about it the next day, and read about the mistakes that were made and who played well. And you get the books for the yearly books, and you can, read back on the achievement of your county and what they have done and what they didn't do. I love look back on records, because oftentimes there'll be quizzes on the radio, on your local radio. And it's great to be able to look back and look up little quizzes and to see who was on teams years ago. And that is a great thing to be able to do.
Martin is in no doubt that plucking up the courage to seek help has brought about dramatic changes in his life.
I realise now that if I had to have this 20 years ago, it would have made a great difference for me. And I would advise anybody to go to their local education and to get into it. And they shouldn't be afraid, they shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's only a lack of education, and it's not our fault that we didn't get the education. The system let us down. People say, oh, I couldn't do that. You can do that. Everyone can do it if they try. And there's plenty of opportunities here in Word 8. There's so many courses you can go through if they'd only take the plunge. I'd advise anyone out there, and I'm begging them now, to take the opportunity, and you're well able to do it. There's no use saying that you can't. If I was able to do it, you're able to do it.
Oh, come on. Admit it, it was worth doing.
Yeah, it was. It's gorgeous.
Hey, look. Oh, yes. Interesting, isn't it? Mind you, not everyone's taste, but...
I love Japanese stone gardens. They're so calming. Can't we come in and have a proper look? Okay.
Oh, please. Bernie, put on the kettle. Mrs. McGee, bring everybody over.
Now, let's have a quick recap on the main learning points we covered this week. In our spelling tip, we looked at the sounds that some letters make. For example, the D sound that the letter D makes in the words daffodil, daisy, and door. Knowing the sound that a letter makes can be a great help when you're trying to spell a difficult word. Scanning is about looking for keywords, whether it's a contents page, a TV guide, or a cinema listing. You don't have to take in all the information. You can skip through it until you come to a keyword or a topic of interest to you. Sometimes you have to scan down and across the page to find what you're looking for. Use your finger as a guide to help you. Diagrams are often used to get across instructions quickly and simply. To understand a diagram, you'll need to know what the different colours or symbols mean. For example, in this diagram, we saw that the colour blue meant the time you sow, green meant the time for planting out, and yellow was for when you can expect to see the flowers. Before filling out any form, read it through first. Look at the different sections and check what information you need before you fill it out. Most forms look for the same basic information: your name, address, telephone number, and sometimes your date of birth. Why not practice these basics using the workbook? It'll give you more confidence next time you have to fill in a form. If you've any questions or you'd like some help on anything we've covered in this or last week's programme, call the NALA free phone number 1800 20 20 65. Specially trained tutors are standing by to take your call from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Calls are free and confidential. You can also phone this number to get your copy of the free Read Write Now learning pack which accompanies this series. If you'd like to take part in the evaluation of this series, call NALA on 1800 20 20 65 and leave your name with one of the tutors.